Tamiya Wild Dagger. Hey guys, welcome back to Tamiya Legends, and once again, thank you for stopping by. So we're finally going to get the Tamiya Wild Dagger finished off. If you don't know the Wild Dagger, it's kit number 58231 and was released in 1999. It was the first WR01 chassis, and then they did 3 or 4 variants of the truck after that. I like the Wild Dagger the best out of that range. I just think it looks pretty cool. But saying that, before I got this truck, it was not something ever on my radar. It's not something I really wanted. As I say, if you don't know the chassis, it runs on 2 motors, so it's basically got 2 standalone gearboxes which just bolt onto this big plastic chassis. It's quite a cool thing. It comes with friction shocks, so it's very bouncy. There's not much travel considering it's like a monster truck. So anyway, in previous videos, or in a previous video, I stripped his chassis fully down because it had an issue with one of the gearboxes. It just wasn't built correctly. We've fully ball raced it now. So in this video, the plan is to get it all finished. It's all 100% original. This is the original shell, and it's still got the protective film on it, which is pretty amazing. I need to tidy up the cutting of it on it. Sorry, let me just get this in. What else we got to show you before we start? So the truck itself is 2 colours. The truck bed is black, which is PS5. That's going to be a bit of a pig for masking. I'm not looking forward to that. There's a little tricky area sort of on the back of the cab where you've got a mask, and I want to get those lines as good as I can. The overall colour of the truck is PS16. That's a lovely colour. So that's a Vanti blue, that metallic blue. What else we got? I won't show you that just yet because that's mega cool. When I bought the truck, I was lucky enough to get the original decals with it, which is mega cool. And in the back of that, we've got window mats, and we've also got the really cool chrome decals that go on it. So it's going to be 100% box art. Just before, one more thing. Last of the decals, I've got some BF Goodrich tyre decals to put on it. Now, I'm going to put those on in this video. These tyres are quite soft. These are like the Monster Beetle tyres, and the rubber is pretty soft, so I don't think the decals are going to stay on it when we run it. So I actually bought some sort of large Goodyear decals for when I've ran it, and sort of when it's finished, it'll have 2 big Goodyears on there, and I think that's going to look cool. Once the car's finished on this video with those on, it's going to look mega cool, but as I say, I doubt they'll stay on when we've got to run it. I also got the manual with it, which is cool. Now, this is the coolest part of all. I got this donated to me. So a massive shout out to Toby if you're watching. This is so cool. So it's an alloy chassis for the WR01. These are mega rare. Now obviously it's an aftermarket thing, it's not a Tamiya product. Tamiya never did anything like that. But sort of back in the day, late 90s, early 2000s, or more early 2000s, people started manufacturing these. So if you Google sort of alloy chassis for the Wild Dagger, there's a few pictures and there's some different types. This is one of the best I've ever seen. It's absolutely stunning. That also comes with the 2 shock towers, so you can extend the shock. So when I've finished babbling on, when I bring a camera over, I'll show you this in more detail and kind of how it goes together. But yeah, again, massive shout out to Toby. Contacted me, said, look, I've got this, I'd like to donate it to the channel, when he seen I had one. But there's a but. So my original plan for this truck was to do it in the Tom Cruise Days of Thunder style NASCAR body, with the green, yellow, green, and then I've got the NASCAR decals for it. It would have looked really cool like that, but in the meantime, I've decided that this is not something I really want to keep, so this will be moving on. So my buddy Stuart, who buys a few of my cards when I finished, he said he wants this. So I said, look, if you want it, I'll do it 100% box art for you, because that's what he's into. So he said, yeah, so that's cool. So this is kind of penciled in that it's going to go to Stuart, hence why I'm doing the full box art. So at a later date, once this is finished, we may well have a go at fitting this chassis. It looks relatively straightforward, but it looks straightforward to get the gearboxes bolted onto either side, but it does look like there's a little bit of work needed. Anyway, when we bring a camera over, I'll show you that. So in fact, that's it now. So let's have a close up on this thing. So as you can see, it's a big lump of a truck. It's quite a beefy design, and I kind of like it now. It is growing on me slightly, but I know that this is one of those occasions that when I do get the shell finished and a bit of detail on the wheels, that it's going to look, I'll probably do a U-turn on it and really like it. So as you can see, very unique design. Gearbox here, motor on the other side, rear gearbox with a motor here. Got the old mechanical speed controller on there. It's got 2 servos and a receiver fitted of old school radio gear. So also in this video, while we wait for the paint to dry, we'll dig a modern day receiver out, because I want to try get this out tomorrow to do a running video with it, all being well. Probably have to we're gonna have to put a little bit of super glue on the tyres as well, because I did notice that the wheels were spinning within the tyres, which is going to be no good for running it. Just while we've got that there, I'll give you a close up on this chassis. Look at that thing. That's a bit special, isn't it? And as I say, we've got 2 shock towers. So as you see, I guess you can get the gist of that chassis, how that sort of goes. As I say, I think the gearboxes will bolt to it quite straightforward, but stuff like these body posts and stuff, it's got something slightly different. So I might have, if we choose to go this route, we might need to think about it a little bit more to see if we need some sort of screws. This allows you to, let me just dig a shock out. This fits like, where are we? There. So that fits in that position, which is the idea of that is to get longer shocks on it and put oil shocks on. So I have got some oil shocks. There's no oil in that one, but I've got 4 of those that came off a DB01. They're not. It's probably short by about, looking at that, by about 5 mil to bolt on, but I could still use them, and obviously just drop it slightly, and it's still going to get way more suspension travel with those. And then finally, if we do decide to go the full metal route, then on eBay you can buy all this stuff in silver alloy to match a chassis. Now it's mega expensive, but the lower arms, the top arms, the hubs, the carriers are all alloy, and that's for front and back as well. Now that would look very, very trick. So as I say, that's something we may look at in the future. I guess that's up to Stuart, because as I say, it's expensive. Right, so this has been roughly cut out by someone who did it very rough. They've left the back bumper on. That shouldn't be on. That should be cut. Those sides shouldn't be there. And on the front, this big that line there where my nail is, that should be cut. So basically the idea of this shell, the lines just follow exactly to where the arches are all the way around. So that's going to be the first part of call. I'm going to cut those extra bits off, and I'm going to get some sandpaper out and get these arches smoother. And what's next after that? I'll do that, and then we'll get it washed. I'm going to give this a really good soaking, and then I'll come back. Right, so as I said, that's the front cut correctly. I've sanded the arches down, but I'll do that again as I always do when it's painted, so I can see it better. Cut the back off where it should be, on that side. So that shell's ready to go, and I've washed it now. So this bed has to be black, so I just thought I'd show you in the manual. So obviously this is a bit we've got to mask off now. So it drops down slightly, it's not just the top of the bed, it drops down this 4-5mm lip here as well. So I'll have to get this masked off, and this is a bit I'm kind of concerned about where it goes against the cab, because there's some sort of odd shapes there to get the masking into. Anyway, let's get it masked up. Well, that was fun. That was pretty tricky to mask up. The sort of these three sides relatively easy, but getting this area done into these corners was pretty tricky. You get the gist of it. So yeah, we'll have to see how this turns out. So I'll go warm some PS5 up now, and then we'll get the a couple of coats of black on, should do it. Right, so while I'm waiting for the black to harden, or to dry, so I can give it another coat, I've dug some Spectrum 2.4 radio gear out. I've got a battery, and the plan is just to switch receivers over and plug them into this and just make sure this is all working. And if it is, then we'll tidy the wiring up. Right, she's alive. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I've obviously taken wheels and tyres off, so I've got the steering servo set up with the steering trim. The servo's decent enough. I just put it on the floor and it moves the big chunky wheels. I've taken the switch out of play, just because I didn't want to cut that red plug, but maybe I've gone with the Beck system from the mechanical speed controller straight to the receiver, but I'll probably connect that back up to the switch and put the proper switch in, so the proper plug in, so the switch is working. But yeah, this is it going. Oops, it was all moving. Right, let's get this wiring tidied up. Right, so that's good to go now. Tidied a little bit of the wiring up, connected the proper Beck unit with the switch, which will make it far easier for me. In the process of gluing the tyres, because when I just give it a little run on the floor, it was spinning up quite badly. And I've just brought the shell up. We'll see how that looks. It's dry to the touch, but I just do need to leave it a little bit longer before I pull that masking off. But yeah, fingers crossed. Right, I'll come back when I've got the masking off. Right, so masking's off on the bed. Protective film's on, so it still doesn't look great on the back. Lines are reasonable-ish. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Window masks are obviously now in. And I've just put that on the side because there's some of the protective film starting to lift, just because it's so old, I guess. So we've got that done. So I've just cleaned it out with some alcohol wipes. So I'll let that dry. Paints PS whatever it is, 16s, dry in some hot water or warm water right now. So yeah, we'll go start putting a few coats of this on now. Right, that's the chassis finished. So all we've done is we glued the tyres, we put some tyre decals on. That's just for show. As I say, I've got some proper larger Goodyears to go on when I've run it, because I think these will come off tomorrow when we run it. There's also a cool little symmetrical chassis concept that goes on each battery end, which looks pretty cool because you can see that when the body's on. So that is that. I've got all the decals cut out. That was a bit of a mission, and I've got to be honest, I'm really not looking forward to that one. I'm really not. Anyway, we'll see. And finally, the shell. So I've still got protective film on. It's still hardening, but yeah, and that bed looks to have come out pretty nice, to be fair. Don't look too bad at all. So we'll let this harden and I'll come back and then we'll take the film off and we'll know exactly what's going on. Well, I have to say that has come up a treat. Yeah, I mean, obviously the protective film was on it, and it's been there for what, 20 years. But yeah, that's got a great finish, and the bed just looks superb. Very, very happy with that. So shiny. The actual box art is to smoke these windows, but probably won't be doing that. One, I haven't got any smoke spray paint, and two, I'm not a massive lover of it. But saying that, in certain light, it's got a few sort of little sort of scratches on it, which must have got through a protective film. So yeah, maybe, I don't know. I was tempted to sort of put a driver in it or something. Two side windows came out fantastic. Very happy with that, but we had some bleed on the main window here. Hang on, you're not seeing it, are you? A little bit there. So obviously we've got some window decal strips to put on, so I'll fit them. That side's actually a little bit worse. You can just see it there. But as I say, I'll fit the window strut decals. It may cover most of it up, and anything it doesn't cover will what you may call it. Let me just put this on. I've got a stupid little aerial, and I've just realised that's going to be quite difficult to do. Oh my goodness me. Come on. Okay. What's going on here? Right, there's one. There's two. 3, 4. Let's have a look at that. Wow. Oops, sorry. That's looking mighty fine. Yeah, that paint's awesome. One of my favourite colours, not just because it's the Avanti colour, but I just think that particular paint goes on really well. That looks well, doesn't it? That does look well. Obviously I'm not too sure if the body mounts are in the right position yet. It might go higher, it might go lower. Doesn't look bad though. Looks much better now. It's got that cut to the correct length. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Right, time to get decaling. Happy days. Right, we're rocking now. It looks great actually. So concentrated, just followed the manual. We did the front first, so pretty basic. Main decal on the bonnet, windscreen on the sides. What else is there? So that's basically the front. Then we did the back, very basic. Again, 2 lights, Wild Dagger, number plate. There's this decal on the bed, looks pretty cool. There's the mirror finish decal for the back window, which is cool. And then on the roof, we've just put this other mirror finish decal on, and then the driver's name, which is Barry Volkson by the looks of it. So yeah, it's taking shape now. So next up, what I'm going to do, because there's certain decals that overlap on the side, so I've got to make sure I get this spot on. So we'll do the both side windows. We'll put these fins on here, and then we'll have to go to instructions, because what I'm thinking happens, it looks like one of these mirror finishes goes like that. Yeah, look, that black line's to tie that up, and then that gets a load of sponsor decals put over the top of it. And then this, which is going to be a nightmare because it's got this huge fold here. But basically, and I've also noticed I've cut this wrong. So obviously you're going to have that silver chrome mirror finish there. And looking at what it's saying, this red line just sits above it. So that red line is going to be parallel to the car. So it's going to be something like, I think it's going to be roughly like that, but this line's lower, so I have to cut this off, and this actually goes up higher, and as you can see it's got a bit of a rounded section which will go on this arch. So I'm not too sure if I have to fit this first and then put the chrome decal over that to look neater, and then the sponsorship decals, or if this is the last one, so I'll have to go by the numbers. Anyhow, let's get cracking. Right, that's the shell finished, and I found that really difficult. Very, very difficult. This gold here is made, it feels like it's made of a different material, and it's pretty difficult to shape. I'll tell you what it reminds me of, the same stuff that the Porsche 959 stripes are made from. They crinkle very easily. Anyway, they're on. But yeah, it's a bit of a mission. They said you had to get the chrome one on first, and then this big one, and then that was super difficult to get it to sweep up, and then you just put the other one on the back. That's that side. Don't get me wrong, looks superb, but yeah, that whole centre section was pretty horrendous, if I'm honest. There's a few decals left over, but they're not on the instructions, and as I say, I want to go 100% box art. I'm just looking at the manual now to see if that's got any different things on, any decals on, but it hasn't. So yeah, I think we'll stick with that. So our next job, let's get it on the chassis, and let's see if we can fix the ride height and pick one that we're happy with. Boom, she's done. It's taken me 6 hours that today, which ain't bad, to be honest. That ain't bad at all. Looks great. Looks great. It's the first time I've ever seen a complete sort of box art Wild Dagger. I've only really seen pictures of them, but it's the blue works. Probably with the bad lighting in here, it's not popping as it should. But yeah, the colours definitely work, and the decals are very vibrant. Very cool. I probably have to put O-rings over the body post because there's just a little bit of movement front and back, even more on the back actually, and that'll take paint off when it's running, and we don't want that. But yeah, I think tyre decals work for now. I think it'll look better with the bigger Goodyears on. But as I say, we'll hopefully get it out tomorrow and get it running, and then when we bring it back and clean it up, we can well, we'll see if those decals are still on first of all, and if they do fall off, then we'll change them. Yeah, it's all right. I like it. It's cool. It's yeah, it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Very nostalgic, even though it's something I never really sought after. It's just that thing, just having a Tamiya model. Or a Tamiya RC car in complete box art, looking as it did when you used to be able to buy them. It's just it's fun. The bed's superb. Very happy with that. Really happy with how that's come up. I must sort of confess, when I was doing it, masking it this morning, I didn't think it was going to look as good as it did. One thing I don't like, these window decals are terrible. It could be age, I don't know, but they're really bad. So I've got some of this stuff on tape. So this one's okay. That's one piece, and that's the second piece. But I want to redo this bit. I just don't like it. It's gonna lift. So yeah, I think we'll have to leave at 24 hours to see if any of these decals actually do lift. And she's done. And yeah, it looks great, to be honest. It really does look great. Very happy with it. As always, it's really nice to get hold of something that's new, and obviously the history behind this is someone built it. They built one of the gearboxes wrong, so it looks like they couldn't get it to go, and they just stuck it away, and it just got covered in dust. And I was lucky enough to come across it when the guy wanted to sell it. So it's not often you get a chance to do, like, because obviously the Wild Dagger's original, there's no re of this, and it probably won't be. So although it's not exactly a sought after kit, it's going to become one, definitely, and to have one in this condition is absolutely superb. So Stuart, if you're watching this and you're penciled in to buy this, you'll have to let me know if you want it or not. I guess if you don't, I'll have to keep it. Nice, cool. So next up for this is, it's been a hell of a week. It's only Wednesday today, so I've got the Egress is finished, Dagger's finished, and Wild Dagger's finished. So I did 3 cars in 3 days, with a view to get all of these 3 cars out tomorrow to get them running. So yeah, I'm looking forward to running this thing because I really don't know what to expect. I don't know what kind of speed it's going to do. So we're running standard 540s, but we will run it on 2S with the mechanical speedo, which I don't think that's ideal when it's on 2S, but anyway, that's what we're going to do. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, and we'll do some hill climbs and stuff. I don't know. I have no idea what this thing is for, so it's going to be fun for sure. Anyway, hope you liked it, guys. So I'll end this video. I'll end this video here. So once again, guys, thanks so much for watching. It's much appreciated. If you are new to this channel, if you could please consider liking and subscribing to support us. And if you do that, smash that notification bell for our weekly videos. And as always, guys, happy arseeing.